Historical polygyny has been practiced in many cultures throughout history. It was accepted in ancient Hebrew society, in classical China, and in many traditional Native American, African and Polynesian cultures. In India it was practiced during ancient times, but today, it is largely illegal. It was accepted in ancient Greece, until the Roman Empire and the Roman Catholic Church when having one wife, but multiple lovers became the norm. It was accepted in sub-Saharan Africa for most of the past 2 millennia. In the Hebrew Bible, polygyny was a permitted practice, and required in the case of a levirate marriage, whilst polyandry, a woman having more than one husband, was seen as adultery. In the United States, polygyny or plural marriage was allowed in the early history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormon, LDS Church. It ended in 1945 under the president of the LDS Church at the time, George Albert Smith. Officially since 1904, members of the LDS Church face excommunication for being polygynous. However, this was not enforced until after World War II. There are several sects within the LDS Church that continue to practice polygyny despite it being illegal in the United States. In historical China, a child was considered to have more than one mother. For example, a child might have up to 4 mothers, the first wife being the official mother in spoken language called Big Mother, the others being regarded as unofficial mothers in spoken language called Little Mother or Aunt. However, this custom was primarily a result of the concubinage system, where only the first wife by marriage was considered the wife and the mistress of the household. A concubine did not marry her owner. Her main duty was to provide a son to her owner, and any children from the liaison were not regarded as officially hers. But she was also brought into the household to provide sexual pleasure to the man and servitude to his wife. In polygynous marriages generally, usually one wife is the queen wife who is more equal than the other wives and has some authority over the other wives. There may be an emergence of group marriage in recent years, with multiple numbers of both sexes. Motivations. Polygyny was used in some societies to enhance certain genetic characteristics, and to weed out unhealthy characteristics. Moreover, owing to the propensity of men to serve and die in wars or labor incidents, women, for centuries, were more likely than men to be left unmarried or widowed. Polygyny ensured that such women were cared for and also helped ensure the births of the large numbers of children required for the survival of pre-mechanized, largely agrarian cultures in which early mortality rates were high. The required inheritance of widows requires men in some societies to marry the widow of a deceased brother. This levirate marriage helps provide support for her and increases his number of wives. In some societies only well-to-do men could afford to have more than one wife, particularly if each wife required maintenance of a separate household. The current traditional form of Islam permits as many as 4 wives, but depending on the man's financial circumstances, fewer wives are more common. Indeed, the vast majority of Muslim men are monogamous, while few present-day states permit polygamous marriages. Polygynous, male behavior may be observed in the establishment of mistresses, who are openly or secretly supported. In this way, men may be technically monogamous but de facto polygynous. One current viable reason is that throughout human history males have always had a higher mortality rate. Even today there are more females than males in the world, C.I.A. fact book. The perfect situation with one man one is simply not a mathematical possibility. Some men would have to have at least 2 females for everyone to be in a relationship. This fact is not affected by the gay population since there is no reason to believe that the ratio of female homosexuals are higher than males. There is however reason to believe that this percentage is the same, in which case the actual number of straight males to straight females would be even more displaced than now. It is even possible that this number is even further displaced by the number of male pedophiles. This is generally a male characteristic also, and would decrease the number of normal males wanting to have a normal female. The biology of polygyny hard to ignore. Very few human societies show a different pattern. This balance is also always destroyed in case of war. General human behavior is that males fight and die, and also in case of occupation more frequently killed. This can push the ratio over 1:8 in extreme situations. World War II casualties. In addition to the previous reason, the male rape conviction rate and the extreme overrepresentation of males buying sexual services is description of that males have higher sexual drive than women. There are obvious exceptions to this, but the statistics shows the normal, non-8% criminal as male. With this reason it is also hypothesized that males would leave as happier people with more than one partner, and it would also decrease this type of crimes. A considerable proportion of men worldwide buy sex from female prostitutes, with most estimates of lifetime prevalence ranging from 7 to 39%, depending on the country and study. Many experts argue that it is a male appetite, and not the choices of prostitutes, that fundamentally drives the sex trade. There is also some research that show that males living in polygynous marriages live longer, 12% longer in average. This would decrease the already unbalanced male-female balance.